Aboard the USS Destiny, the luminous expanse of space framed the ship against the canvas of stars. The vessel, sleek and formidable, symbolized the pinnacle of human engineering in the interstellar fleet. Within its labyrinthine corridors, a young cadet named Alex Thompson briskly walked, his footsteps echoing softly. His uniform, though proudly worn, seemed a stark contrast to the colored plumage and shimmering scales of his alien counterparts who roamed the halls. Alex was a human cadet, one among many in a diverse crew, yet he felt the weight of being an outsider in this multicultural microcosm. Despite his exceptional skills in strategic maneuvers and interstellar navigation, Alex often found himself grappling with a sense of displacement. He was eager to prove himself, to stand out not just as another member of the crew, but as someone indispensable. That opportunity appeared close at hand with the impending union ceremony set to take place. Rumors buzzed through the ship's alleys and common areas, all centered on Commander Zarkath's forthcoming marriage to an alien bride from the distant Zythorian Empire. It was not just any union, but a political alliance thick with implications for the galaxy's balance of power. This event was the talk of the fleet, a grand celebration meant to solidify ties between humans and the enigmatic Zythorians. Commander Zarkath was a figure of immense respect and strategic prowess. His reputation stretched across the galaxy, his command decisions often swinging the pendulum of interstellar politics. His bride, however, was shrouded in mystery, a figure whispered about but seldom seen. This marriage was to cement an allegiance crucial for maintaining harmony across volatile sectors. Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. As he rounded a corner, a hushed conversation caught his attention, pulling him to a halt. Hidden behind a bulkhead, he overheard snippets, words like agenda, betrayal, and threat floated to his ears. The tension in those words was palpable, thick enough to hint at a layer beneath the surface of pomp and circumstance that surrounded the upcoming ceremony. He bit his lip, the weight of what he might have stumbled upon pressing heavily on his conscience. The scene around Alex seemed to shimmer with underlying tension. The vast, brightly lit atrium where crew members gathered buzzed with both excitement and trepidation. Preparations for the ceremony were well underway. Decorations reflecting both human and Zythorian cultures were being meticulously arranged, overseen by coordinators ensuring every detail was perfect. The atmosphere, though celebratory, carried an undercurrent of unease that Alex felt acutely, a sensation that others appeared oblivious to as they busied themselves with their tasks. His mind raced with possibilities, 1,000 scenarios, and outcomes playing out in his imagination. Could the overheard conversation be linked to some deeper conspiracy, or was it merely an overactive imagination fueled by the pressure of serving on such a significant mission? Either way, Alex knew he was at the precipice of something monumental, a truth hidden beneath layers of diplomacy and ceremony. As he navigated the corridors back to his quarters, Alex's thoughts were a turbulent sea of doubt and determination. What he had overheard could not be dismissed easily, nor could he ignore the growing sense that the ceremony was more than just a political alliance. There were secrets to be uncovered, and he, perhaps unwittingly, stood at the threshold of unraveling them. The looming ceremony promised not just to be a spectacle, but a pivotal moment in the interstellar narrative of peace and alliance. Alex understood the gravity of his role now. Small as his presence on the ship might seem, his actions could tip the scales. The truth he held could indeed cast the entire fleet into red alert. As he lay on his bunk, staring at the unyielding metal ceiling, he resolved to dig deeper. He had to, for the sake of the fleet, for the sake of peace, and for his own unyielding pursuit of truth amidst the cold vastness of space. Cadet Alex Thompson's journey to the Galactic Fleet Academy was anything but ordinary. Raised in the bustling heart of New Geneva, a haven for human ingenuity and multicultural exchange, Alex grew up amidst the towering skyscrapers and neon-lit streets that buzzed with the energy of a world constantly advancing. His fascination with the cosmos began early, nurtured by holographic documentaries that depicted the vastness of space and the diversity of life beyond Earth. His parents, both engineers working on the frontier of spacecraft design, fueled his passion, often regaling him with stories of their own adventures and the groundbreaking technologies they helped develop. Determined to follow in their footsteps but carve his own path, Alex dedicated himself to his studies. He excelled in astrophysics and xenolinguistics, finding a particular affinity for the latter, which would later prove invaluable. His hard work paid off when he received his acceptance into the prestigious Galactic Fleet Academy, a dream shared by billions but achieved by few. The Academy was a place where the best minds from across the galaxy converged, representing myriad species and cultures. Alex's enrollment marked the beginning of an intense period of training and adaptation. Being one of the few humans in his cohort, Alex initially felt like an outsider. His fellow cadets included towering Zythorians with their shimmering scales and stoic demeanor, agile Elkran with their swift movements and sharp intellect, and the enigmatic Vorians, whose telepathic abilities were both awe-inspiring and slightly intimidating. Despite feeling overshadowed at times, Alex's resolve to prove himself only grew stronger. His exceptional skills in tactical simulations and his uncanny ability to bridge cultural divides through language earned him respect among peers and instructors alike. Amidst this backdrop, Commander Zarkath's presence loomed large. A figure of immense respect and authority, Zarkath was a veteran of numerous campaigns, his name synonymous with strategic brilliance and diplomatic acumen. His impending union with an alien bride from the Zythorian Empire was more than just a personal milestone, it was a significant political event. The marriage was intended to cement a vital alliance that promised to stabilize volatile sectors of the galaxy, ensuring peace and prosperity for countless worlds. The ceremony was eagerly anticipated, a symbol of unity and cooperation. However, for Alex, the impending union carried ominous undertones. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss, a suspicion sparked by overhearing a cryptic conversation that hinted at undisclosed motives. It was this undercurrent of unease that kept him on edge, propelling him into a deeper investigation. The USS Destiny, the vessel he called home, was a marvel of interstellar engineering. Its mission to maintain peace and order across the galaxy placed it at the forefront of diplomatic and military efforts. The ship's corridors bustled with activity, a microcosm of the broader cosmic community it served. Yet, Alex felt a growing disconnect, an awareness of the precarious balance between the mission's noble goals and the underlying tensions that threatened to unravel them. Despite these challenges, Alex's determination to excel never wavered. He was driven by an unwavering commitment to uphold the values of the fleet, a dedication mirrored in his decision to delve deeper into the mysterious circumstances surrounding the Union. He knew that proving himself went beyond personal achievement, it was about safeguarding the ideals he had sworn to protect. As preparations for the ceremony intensified, Alex's resolve hardened. He was acutely aware of his position as a bridge between his human heritage and the diverse crew he served alongside. The differences that initially set him apart now became his greatest assets, allowing him to navigate the complexities of interspecies relations with a unique perspective. In this crucible of cultures and politics, Alex's journey was just beginning. The challenges ahead would test his loyalty, courage, and ingenuity, pushing him to the limits of his abilities. Yet, with each step, he grew increasingly confident that his path, though fraught with danger and uncertainty, was the one he was destined to walk. As the shadows of a looming conspiracy began to coalesce, Alex braced himself for the trials that would ultimately define his role in the fleet's mission and his place in the galaxy. Cadet Alex Thompson remained ever vigilant as the day of the Union ceremony drew near. The air aboard the USS Destiny was thick with anticipation, a kind of anxious excitement that permeated the corridors and mess halls. Every crew member seemed caught up in preparations, but Alex's mind was elsewhere, burdened with doubts and suspicions that refused to dissipate. His encounter with Commander Zarkath and the Zythorian bride had unearthed unsettling questions he couldn't ignore. During a routine inspection of the ship's promenade deck, Alex noticed something unusual. Commander Zarkath and his bride, a mysterious figure wrapped in shimmery blue veils, were engaged in a private conversation. Though their words were lost to him, the bride's hand gestures were animated, her eyes glimmering with an intensity that seemed almost predatory in its focus. Zarkath, known for his stoic demeanor, appeared unusually subdued, his posture one of reluctant compliance. This interaction fueled Alex's suspicions. He'd always respected Zarkath, though their interactions were sparse. The commander was a linchpin in the fleet's efforts to maintain peace across the galaxy, his leadership respected by both human and alien counterparts. However, the marriage to the Zythorian bride was not just a personal union but a significant political maneuver, one meant to solidify an alliance with the Zythorian Empire. This union was expected to usher in a new era of collaboration and peace. Yet, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something was awry. The political stakes were evident. An alliance would vastly improve relations, potentially quelling rising tensions in volatile galaxies where the Empire's influence extended. The ceremony promised stability, yet why did Alex sense an undercurrent of threat? In the days leading up to the event, whispers of discontent circulated subtly through the ranks. Though most crew members were focused on their tasks, Alex detected a nervous energy. Protocols were being reviewed, and security measures intensified, but there was an intangible feeling of unsettlement. Alex's observations on the promenade could have been dismissed as mere paranoia, yet they resided in his mind with an urgency that demanded action. Determined to get to the bottom of his suspicions, Alex began discreetly gathering information. He spent long nights in the data archive room, analyzing reports and logs, attempting to piece together a puzzle that refused clarity. His instincts told him the bride's presence wasn't benevolent, that perhaps her intentions were not purely diplomatic. Each data search led only to more questions, elusive hints that danced at the edge of discovery. Nevertheless, the ceremony preparations were relentless. The ship was bustling with activity, every division performing their roles to perfection, ensuring the day would go without a hitch. Alex, however, moved as if in a parallel reality, one where silence screamed warnings he couldn't articulate. He went about his duties with attention but found moments to speak with others, probing gently for insights. Amidst this, Alex's unease grew palpable. His conversations with the crew revealed no concrete information, only heightened awareness of the ceremony's significance. Everyone assumed it would proceed smoothly, the culmination of months of diplomacy. But for Alex, laden with doubt, the approach of the ceremony felt less like a celebration and more like a countdown to potential disaster. As the date approached, Alex witnessed another exchange, this time in the observation deck. The bride stood alone, looking out into the vastness of space, her expression inscrutable, as if she were contemplating something far beyond the ceremonial horizon. What secrets lay hidden within her enigmatic demeanor? What part did she truly play in this grand interstellar chess game? As the ship's crew polished every surface and painstakingly rehearsed every step for the illustrious event, Alex realized he could no longer remain silent. The burden of his suspicions pressed heavily upon him. He had to act, to trust his instincts and dig deeper, even if it meant challenging conventions and risking reprimand. This decision, he knew, could change everything. Not just for him, but for the entire fleet. The stakes were indeed high, yet to do nothing would be a choice he could not abide. In the labyrinthine corridors of the USS Destiny, where silence often cloaked secrets, Cadet Alex Thompson moved with a purposeful stride. Curiosity and a persistent unease propelled him, weaving through the ship as if following an invisible thread. The ceremonial grandeur that had gripped the fleet in anticipation of Commander Zarkath's union with the Zythorian bride had left no corner of the vessel untouched. Decorations gleamed with polished precision, but beneath the sheen lurked a disconcerting undercurrent that Alex couldn't ignore. His mind roiled with unresolved questions. The mysterious exchange he'd witnessed between the commander and the bride haunted him, a puzzle piece that refused to fit. Determined to uncover the truth, Alex had taken it upon himself to investigate further, his innate sense of justice spurring him beyond the bounds of caution. As the ship's loyalty lay entwined with the potential alliance, anything amiss could ripple across their mission's foundation. Alex's search led him to the communications hub, a place pulsating with encrypted exchanges. The air hummed with digital whispers, each line of code a potential key to the mystery. He approached a terminal, hesitated, then deftly manipulated the controls. His fingers danced over the interface, probing for anomalies with a skill honed in the Galactic Fleet Academy. Suddenly, a series of encrypted messages flashed before him. They bore the distinct insignia of the Zythorian Empire, shrouded in layers of digital complexity. Alex's heart raced as he decrypted the data with a meticulous hand. What he uncovered was chilling, a covert agenda concealed beneath the veneer of diplomatic union. The messages hinted at a sinister plan, initiated by factions within the Zythorian hierarchy, to leverage the marriage as a stepping stone for greater influence over the fleet and, by extension, the galaxy. Stunned by the implications, Alex considered the enormity of his discovery. It wasn't merely a matter of breaking an alliance, it threatened the stability of their entire mission. The weight of this knowledge pressed heavily on him, a tangible burden that demanded action. Yet, the path forward was fraught with peril. Speaking out could mean jeopardizing his future, possibly endangering those closest to him, and unraveling the fragile peace his superiors had worked tirelessly to maintain. As his mind churned with indecision, Alex knew he couldn't act rashly. The stakes were too high, the consequences too grave. He needed allies, others who understood the intricacies of interstellar politics and could help navigate the treacherous terrain ahead. His gaze fell upon the ship's schematic on the terminal, a blueprint not just of metal and circuits but of the lives interwoven within its structure. He realized he needed those loyal to the truth, irrespective of the alliances at play. Vivid memories of his training sessions came to the fore, recalling the camaraderie shared with fellow cadets and the mentorship of seasoned officers who had instilled in him a sense of duty. If he were to proceed, he couldn't do it alone. He needed the insight of those who, like him, valued integrity above all else. Faced with his dilemma, Alex took a deep breath, steeling himself for what lay ahead. His reflection in the terminal's polished surface mirrored the resolve simmering within. To act or not was no longer a question of if but when. He had to embrace the role circumstances had thrust upon him, ensuring that the course of action he chose would avert disaster, not precipitate it. With time slipping through his grasp like stardust, he knew he had to move quickly. The union was imminent, and the clock ticked with relentless precision. Each second lost was ground gained by those who thrived amid chaos. Gathering his thoughts and courage, Alex prepared to reach out to the few he trusted, the ones who could aid in piecing together this intricate puzzle. This moment, he knew, marked the beginning of a critical juncture, where his actions would dictate not just the fate of the ship but potentially the nexus of interstellar alliances. Armed with this newfound resolve, Alex turned away from the terminal, ready to challenge the darkness threatening the very fabric of their mission, knowing full well the precarious path he now walked. Alex's mind was a tumultuous sea of thoughts as he sat alone in his bunk, the cold metal walls of the USS Destiny seeming to close in around him. The encrypted communications he had discovered were no mere coincidence, they painted a disturbing picture that left him battling an internal storm of uncertainty and fear. The implications of sharing his discovery were enormous, not only for him but for the entire fleet. Alex knew full well the gravity of accusing the commander's bride, a figure revered and politically significant, of being involved in a conspiracy with the Zythorian Empire. Yet the risk of staying silent haunted him incessantly. Every scenario he imagined felt fraught with peril, each potential outcome a gateway to chaos. Cadet Sarah Park, one of Alex's few trusted friends, found him deep in thought and offered her support. She understood the weight of his burden, having been one of the confidants he had cautiously shared his initial concerns with. Her perspective was invaluable, her calm demeanor and analytical mind provided a counterbalance to Alex's turbulent emotions. Sarah urged caution, suggesting they gather more evidence before taking any drastic steps. Her reasoning was sound, but Alex struggled to quell the urgent feeling that time was slipping through his fingers. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Marcus Gray, a seasoned officer with a reputation for integrity, offered Alex a different perspective. Gray, having once been a young cadet himself, recognized the potential within Alex and saw in him a reflection of his own fierce loyalty to the fleet. He encouraged Alex not to ignore his instincts, reminding him that sometimes the most difficult choices are the ones that define us. Gray's words resonated deeply, cutting through the fog of indecision that clouded Alex's mind. The internal struggle was relentless, a constant war between head and heart. Alex envisioned the worst-case scenario, a fleet thrown into disarray, alliances shattered, the specter of war looming larger than ever. But doing nothing meant tacit complicity, a betrayal of the very ideals he had sworn to uphold. The thought of his fellow crewmates, blindsided by a danger they didn't even know existed, was almost too much to bear. One evening, as the stars drifted silently past the viewports, Alex reached a pivotal decision. The thought that helped him crystallize his resolve was simple yet profound: loyalty to the fleet and its mission could not coexist with passive silence. If there was even a shred of truth to his findings, then the risk of inaction far outweighs the personal cost he might incur. He would act, but he would do so carefully, ensuring that his approach did not jeopardize the very fabric of their society. Determined, Alex confided again in Sarah and Lieutenant Gray, openly sharing his decision. Together, they began planning their next moves, devising a strategy to collect more definitive evidence to back Alex's explosive claims. They recognized the need for discretion, the necessity of moving like whispers in the shadows to avoid attracting unwanted attention from anyone who might seek to silence them. Trust was paramount, and they were determined to rely only on a select few, individuals whose loyalty to truth and justice surpassed personal affiliations and biases. Throughout the sleepless nights, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. The weight on his shoulders had not lessened, but he now carried it with determination rather than dread. Each step he took was measured, each decision wrung from the depths of his convictions. He knew that the path ahead was fraught with risk, but he had made peace with uncertainty. The future of the fleet, the safety of countless lives, and perhaps even the peace of the galaxy rested upon the shoulders of a single cadet. Alex was prepared to walk the line between duty and danger, driven by a moral compass that refused to waver in the face of adversity. As the shadows of doubt receded, Alex felt the dawn of resolve rising within him. It was time to act, to let courage guide his actions. The fate of the USS Destiny, and the galaxy itself, hinged on the resolution of this storm. Alex found himself navigating the dimly lit corridors of the USS Destiny with a newfound determination. His heart pounded with every step as he recalled the unsettling details he had uncovered. The ship, usually a place of structured order and disciplined routine, now felt like a labyrinth of secrets and impending danger. The air was thick with the anticipation of the upcoming Union ceremony, an event that was supposed to symbolize unity but now represented a potential unraveling of peace. The evidence Alex had clandestinely gathered weighed heavily in his pocket, a combination of data files and holographic images pointing to a conspiracy that reached far beyond the ceremonial union. The Zythorian bride, with her ethereal grace and seemingly benign demeanor, was at the center of a plot that could destabilize the fleet and ignite intergalactic chaos. Her true allegiance remained shrouded in mystery, with implications that threaten not only the USS Destiny but the entire galaxy's fragile power structures. As the ceremony drew closer, Alex knew he was racing against time. His movements were cautious yet urgent, avoiding the watchful eyes of the ship's security detail. Each passing crew member was a potential threat, every hallway camera a silent observer. The stakes were higher than ever, and Alex could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. There was no room for error, no luxury of second chances. He made his way to a secluded area of the ship, a small alcove near the engineering deck, where he could sift through the information without prying eyes. The data painted a disturbing picture: covert communications between the bride and high-ranking officials within the Zythorian Empire. The messages hinted at a coup, a strategic maneuver to seize control of critical fleet operations under the guise of the Union. It was a chilling revelation, one that could not be ignored. Alex's mind raced with scenarios and counterstrategies. He had to find a way to stop the ceremony or at least disrupt the plans long enough to expose the truth. But the complexity of the conspiracy was daunting, and he knew he couldn't do it alone. He needed allies, trusted individuals who could help him navigate the treacherous waters of interstellar politics and military protocol. Reaching out to his confidants required careful deliberation. The risk of exposure was high, and trust was a rare commodity aboard the USS Destiny. Yet, Alex was driven by a sense of duty, a moral obligation to avert disaster. He began to compile a list of potential allies, mentally assessing their loyalty and capabilities. Each name represented a lifeline, a beacon of hope against the looming threat. With the ceremony just hours away, the urgency of the situation intensified. Alex's mind was a whirlwind of plans, possibilities, and contingencies. He could almost hear the ticking of an invisible clock, its relentless cadence reminding him of the limited time left to act. He had to move swiftly, and every second counted. The corridors were alive with activity, preparations for the ceremony underway with a precision that belied the underlying tension. Alex moved through the ship with determination, a man on a mission, invisible yet present in every shadowed corner. His resolve was unbreakable, his purpose clear. He would uncover the truth and protect the fleet from the impending catastrophe. The bride's true intentions began to unravel in Alex's mind, a tapestry of deceit and ambition woven with the threads of intergalactic politics. He felt the enormity of the challenge before him but refused to be daunted. His training had prepared him for adversity, his spirit forged in the crucible of the Galactic Fleet Academy. Now, he stood on the precipice of an unprecedented crisis, a lone cadet against an empire's machinations. As Alex pressed forward, the burden of his discovery was matched only by the fire of his conviction. The fate of the fleet rested on his shoulders, a weight he bore with steadfast resolve. The plot had thickened, the stakes elevated to a critical juncture. Time was of the essence, and Alex was determined to see justice prevail. Amidst the labyrinthine corridors of the USS Destiny, Cadet Alex Thompson embarked on a meticulous quest to forge alliances among the diverse crew. The stakes were high, a truth seething beneath the surface of the impending union that loomed over the interstellar vessel like a charged storm. Yet Alex knew he couldn't shoulder this burden alone. The fleet was a tapestry of cultures and talents, each member contributing their unique skills and perspectives. To expose the hidden conspiracy threatening the fleet, he needed to weave these threads into a coherent force. First, he sought out Lieutenant Yara, a Zythorian engineer renowned for her analytical prowess and deep understanding of her people's technology. Her quarters, illuminated by the rhythmic glow of alien data consoles, exuded an aura of intelligence and precision. Alex approached her cautiously, knowing that trust was a fragile commodity. Sharing his findings, he watched as her eyes narrowed with a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. Yara's response was cautious yet intrigued, her allegiance to truth outweighing her loyalty to her empire. "Alex, if this is true, it changes everything," she murmured, the weight of her words settling like a mantle of responsibility. Encouraged, Alex moved next to Ensign Malik, a Terran communications officer whose roots traced back to the grassroots movements of Earth. Malik's passion for justice and equality had shaped his worldview, making him a natural ally in this clandestine endeavor. In the bustling communications hub, Alex outlined the situation, carefully gauging Malik's reaction. The ensign leaned back, processing the enormity of the implications. "This could fracture the very basis of our mission," Malik remarked, his voice a symphony of determination. "Count me in." In the ship's medical bay, Alex approached Dr. Jalla, a Scythian known for her empathy and commitment to the well-being of all aboard. Her reputation as a healer extended beyond the physical realm, encompassing the emotional and relational dynamics that sustained the crew. She listened to Alex's revelations with a steady calm, eyes reflecting depths of understanding. "Unity is built on trust, Alex," she affirmed, her voice a balm amidst the escalating tension. "We must protect it at all costs." Together, this fledgling resistance began to coalesce. Each member brought not only skills but also perspectives shaped by their diverse backgrounds. The strength of this alliance lay in its unity, a testament to the ship's multicultural fabric. Their strategy sessions, held in hushed whispers and secluded quarters, grew more frequent as the ceremony inched closer. Trust, a precarious but vital element, solidified in the crucible of shared purpose. As the deadline loomed, the group meticulously planned the logistics of their intervention, knowing the success of their mission hinged on flawless execution. Alex marveled at the ease with which his comrades synthesized their talents, combining technology, communication, and empathy into a formidable arsenal. Yara's technical insights illuminated the security measures surrounding the bride's quarters. Malik's adeptness with the fleet's communication networks allowed them to clandestinely coordinate their efforts without rousing suspicion. Dr. Jalla, in her quiet wisdom, ensured the crew maintained their morale and resolve. In these final days, Alex felt the weight of leadership pressing upon him. He was not only orchestrating a plan but nurturing a community bound by a shared ethos. He internalized the lessons learned from each ally, their strengths amplifying his own. The group became a microcosm of the very ideals the galactic fleet espoused, embodying the unity it sought to uphold. The impending ceremony cast long shadows throughout the vessel, a testament to the high stakes. Yet Alex's heart was buoyed by the allies rallying to the cause. Each step forward reinforced his resolve, transforming what began as a solitary struggle into a collaborative effort. As the final preparations unfolded, the urgency of their mission fueled their commitment to avert disaster. They would not stand by while deceit threatened their home. They were ready to expose the truth, together, turning their diverse strengths into an unbreakable force against the darkness encroaching upon the fleet. Within the labyrinthine corridors of the USS Destiny, the atmosphere buzzed with a charged energy. Deep within the ship's heart, an alliance of cadets and officers, united by a shared goal, meticulously crafted their strategy. Their mission was clear: foil a sinister conspiracy surrounding the impending Union ceremony and expose the truth to the fleet. Cadet Alex Thompson, now the reluctant leader of this ragtag group, stood at the center of the planning. His mind was a whirlwind of calculations and contingencies. Each decision carried weight, the stakes higher than he had ever faced in simulations back at the academy. Around him, figures moved with a determined urgency, their faces a medley of resolve and anxiety. The complexity of their task was daunting. The ceremony, a convergence of diverse cultures and powerful dignitaries, was heavily fortified. Security protocols were at their strictest, the ship's internal systems monitored by vigilant eyes. Yet, the alliance remained undeterred. They had devised a plan, intricate and bold, relying on their collective strengths and unique talents. In a secluded room, they gathered around a holographic display of the ship, poring over schematics and patrolling schedules. The hum of the ship's engines was the backdrop to their whispered discussions. Each member offered insights, highlighting how they might circumvent the ship's defenses without raising suspicion. Alex watched as Lieutenant Mira Chen, a seasoned tactician known for her calm demeanor under pressure, outlined their approach. Her voice was steady, each word measured, exuding an air of confidence that helped soothe frayed nerves. "Timing is crucial," she emphasized, tracing a path through the hologram with a thin stylus. "Our window of opportunity is narrow. We must synchronize our actions precisely." Amidst the strategizing, Cadet Jax Malone, a tech-savvy engineer with a penchant for innovative solutions, presented his contribution. He had designed a diversion, a subtle disruption to the ship's power grid that would momentarily obscure their movements. It was a calculated risk, requiring flawless execution, but it was the best opportunity to maneuver through the tight security net. Alex nodded, appreciating the ingenuity behind the plan. The room hummed with anticipation, each member internalizing their role in the intricate operation. As the discussion continued, Alex felt a surge of gratitude towards his team. Each had their reasons for joining the cause, and though their backgrounds varied, a shared sense of duty bound them together. The gravity of their mission demanded nothing less. He couldn't help but reflect on his own journey, the path that had led him from a hopeful cadet to this pivotal moment. His resolve hardened, failure was not an option. With the plan finalized, the group dispersed, each member moving with purpose to prepare for their respective tasks. Alex remained behind for a moment, his gaze fixed on the holographic map. A sense of responsibility weighed heavily upon him, but it was buoyed by the knowledge that he was not alone. His team was formidable, their collective strength a testament to the diversity and unity of the fleet. As he turned to leave, Mira caught his eye. Her expression was one of reassurance, a silent acknowledgement of the challenges ahead. "We've got this," she said softly, her words a balm for his anxieties. The countdown had begun. The seconds ticked away, each one bringing them closer to the critical juncture. With every step, Alex's confidence grew, bolstered by the trust and camaraderie of his comrades. They were more than a team, they were a beacon of integrity within the vastness of space, poised to safeguard the principles they held dear. On the eve of the ceremony, the ship was a hive of activity, oblivious to the storm brewing beneath the surface. The Alliance moved with quiet determination, their actions synchronized like the components of a finely tuned machine. Alex's heart beat in tandem with the rhythm of their efforts, each pulse a reminder of the imminent clash between treachery and truth. As they prepared to intercept the ceremony, hope intertwined with challenge, forging an unbreakable resolve that would guide them through the trials to come. Aboard the USS Destiny, a tense atmosphere settled over the halls as preparations for the Union ceremony accelerated. The entire ship buzzed with activity, yet beneath this outward cheerfulness, a current of unease rippled among those who knew what was truly at stake. Cadet Alex Thompson moved with purpose through the corridors, his mind racing with the events that had led him to this critical juncture. The upcoming ceremony was not merely a grand event but a ticking clock, counting down to a potential catastrophe that he and his allies desperately sought to prevent. As the day dawned, the Zythorian bride's arrival was heralded with fanfare, her presence an embodiment of the fragile alliance between the Galactic Fleet and the Zythorian Empire. Amidst the pomp, Alex and his team continued to face unexpected challenges. Their carefully crafted strategy to intercept the ceremony had to navigate new obstacles as the bride's security tightened, and last-minute changes to the ceremony's proceedings emerged. Each alteration introduced new variables into their plan, raising the stakes with every passing hour. Alex found himself surrounded by whispers of uncertainty, the pressure mounting as the clock ticked relentlessly forward. In these moments, doubts crept into the minds of his fellow cadets and allies, testing the bonds of trust they had forged. Tensions flared, revealing the fracture lines that the impending ceremony had wrought amongst those who understood the gravity of the conspiracy they sought to unveil. With the ceremony's commencement drawing nearer, the emotional stakes rose exponentially. Alex had never felt the weight of responsibility so palpably. His role in orchestrating the countermeasures meant that each mistake, each miscalculation, could lead to disastrous consequences. Yet, it also meant that success would hinge on his ability to lead the disparate group of allies, humans and aliens alike, toward a common goal. As he walked through the ship, he recalled the faces of those who had placed their trust in him, their collective hope resting on his shoulders. Outside the ceremonial hall, the decorations of shimmering lights and intricate banners belied the tension simmering just beneath the surface. The grandeur of the occasion could not mask the flickers of resolved anxiety etched upon the faces of the ship's crew, those not privy to the hidden machinations but nonetheless part of the unfolding drama. Inside, preparations were in full swing, the space soon to be filled with dignitaries from various sectors of the galaxy, their presence underscoring the ceremony's significance. Amidst the final rehearsals, Alex received word of an unexpected complication. Additional security protocols had been introduced, complicating their intended plan. These protocols included biometric scans and enhanced surveillance, challenges that were both technologically daunting and time-consuming. For a moment, the path forward seemed fraught with insurmountable problems, but Alex clung to the slim thread of optimism that remained. In response, Alex gathered key allies for one last regroup before the ceremony. The room was a tight, confined space, filled with nervous energy and the low hum of planning whispers. Eyes met with determination and a shared understanding of the risks involved. Alex spoke with a clarity that came from hours of contemplation, outlining the modified approach they would need to adopt to circumvent the new security measures. It was here that the true strength of their alliance shone through. Each member, diverse in their backgrounds and expertise, offered insights and solutions, contributing to a new strategy that reflected their collective effort and resolve. As the final moments before the ceremony slipped away, Alex stood with his team, quietly contemplating the enormity of what lay ahead. The stakes were higher than ever, yet so was their resolve. They knew that the truth they intended to unveil was their greatest weapon, one that could potentially avert disaster and reshape the future not just for the fleet, but for the delicate balance of peace in the galaxy. The clock's ticking seemed to echo in Alex's mind, marking the countdown to a pivotal moment. They were poised on the brink of action, their path uncertain yet firmly rooted in commitment. As they dispersed to their respective posts, the resolve crystallized within them, setting the stage for what was to come. The grand hall aboard the USS Destiny shimmered with dazzling lights and opulence, a testament to the ship's status within the Galactic Fleet. The air was thick with anticipation as the union ceremony between Commander Zarkath and his enigmatic Zythorian bride unfurled. The hall, transformed into a scene of interstellar grandeur, featured exotic floral arrangements from distant planets, their vibrant hues casting an otherworldly glow over the gathering. The ceiling, a marvel of engineering, depicted vast nebulae swirling with stars, reminding all of the expanse surrounding them. Guests, dressed in sumptuous attire representing varied worlds and cultures, filled the room with a hum of chatter. Some bore scales, others fur or extraordinary hues, showcasing the diversity of species allied under the Galactic Fleet's banner. Each representative exuded an air of importance, aware of the political significance of the union they'd gathered to witness. At the heart of this assembly stood Commander Zarkath, his formidable presence undeniable. Clad in ceremonial attire that gleamed with insignias of battles fought and alliances forged, Zarkath was both admired and respected. On his arm stood the bride, a vision of Zythorian elegance. Her gown, an intricate weave of silver and azure, seemed to ripple like liquid metal, reflecting her ethereal charm. Her eyes, pools of dark mystery, flickered with secrets only she seemed to know. The ceremony symbolized more than the union of two individuals, it was a beacon of hope for peace between two powerful entities. Yet, beneath the surface gloss, currents of a different nature threatened to undermine this guise of harmony. Hidden among the throng, Cadet Alex Thompson remained poised, his heart pounding with the weight of the mission at hand. The resistance team, meticulously assembled over tense days, had taken their positions around the hall, each member acutely aware of their role in the harrowing plan about to unfold. Their collective determination was palpable, born from a shared conviction to prevent the covert threat Alex had uncovered. As proceedings commenced, the fleet's ceremonial officers took center stage, their voices a harmonious blend of tradition and reverence. The rhythm of the ceremony, meticulously choreographed, unfolded with precision. Yet, for Alex, every second stretched into an eternity as he watched for the signal to act, the gravity of their undertaking pressing heavily upon him. The orchestration of their intervention required impeccable timing and steadfast nerves. Each ally among the resistance knew their cue, the rare moments where cloaked movements must mesh seamlessly to expose the conspiracy woven into the very heart of this union. The stakes were monumental, yet the potential catastrophe their actions could avert justified their gamble. As the couple exchanged vows, ancient words binding more than just two lives, Alex signaled subtly to his team. Their intervention was now set in motion, threads of destiny intertwined with strands of calculated rebellion. The ceremony, a spectacle of intergalactic unity, was about to become the stage for a revelation that could alter the course of their collective futures. Amidst the vows, a sudden and deliberate interruption silenced the hall, drawing all eyes. The disruption, engineered with precision, shifted the atmosphere from celebratory to tense anticipation. The resistance team's presence was no longer hidden, and the true intent of the gathering began to unravel. Alex felt the weight of every gaze, aware that their moment of truth had arrived. The bride, with her enigmatic smile, seemed unperturbed, her expression revealing an awareness that chilled Alex to his core. This union was not merely a ceremony, it was a catalyst for the unveiling of a plot that reached far beyond the confines of the USS Destiny. In this charged moment, the balance of power teetered precariously, poised on the actions of a few brave individuals. Alex's heart raced, but his resolve remained steadfast. The path they had chosen was fraught with danger, yet the potential for catastrophe had left him with no alternative. The ceremony, intended as a unifying bond, was now the precipice from which the truth would emerge, shaking the very foundations of interstellar diplomacy and revealing the shadows lurking within their ranks. Amidst the grandeur of the Union ceremony, the air inside the USS Destiny was thick with anticipation. The elegant hall was adorned with shimmering lights and the soft hum of alien music, creating an atmosphere of celebration. The distinguished guests, representing various stellar empires, mingled and exchanged pleasantries, unaware of the intricate plan set in motion behind the scenes. Each alien race bore its unique cultural attire, adding to the kaleidoscope of colors that filled the room. At the center of this grand event stood Commander Zarkath and his enigmatic bride, poised to solidify an alliance that could reshape the galaxy's power dynamics. Alex Thompson, now more resolved than ever, moved with calculated precision among the attendees. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat a reminder of the stakes involved. Surrounded by dignitaries oblivious to the web of deceit, Alex felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. The resistance team, a carefully chosen group of allies, were strategically positioned throughout the venue. Their eyes keen, their expressions determined, they awaited the signal to act. As the ceremony unfolded, the orchestrated elegance was juxtaposed with the underlying tension of imminent exposure. Alex, glancing subtly at his companions, felt a surge of camaraderie, their collective mission binding them tighter than any formal alliance. The plan was simple yet fraught with potential pitfalls: disrupt the ceremony at a crucial moment, revealing the bride's concealed agenda and the peril it posed to interstellar harmony. Time trickled, each moment stretching as Alex navigated through the crowd. His mind raced with contingencies, rehearsing the execution of their plan. The first part involved disabling the communication jammers, a task deftly handled by one of Alex's most trusted allies, an ingenious engineer with a knack for stealth. As the soft hum of interference faded, the team's signals became clear. Alex made eye contact with another ally, the signal given. The subtle nod exchanged between them was the catalyst needed to commence the next phase. Meanwhile, the ceremony continued, the vows exchanged with eloquent grandeur, unknowingly teetering on the brink of revelation. In a calculated maneuver, Alex approached the podium where the union was to be officiated. His heart pounding with each step, the magnitude of what they were about to do dawned on him. The crew's resourcefulness and bravery became evident as they coordinated their efforts with seamless synergy. Infiltrating the security systems, another ally displayed the incriminating evidence on the vast, holographic screens surrounding the room. Gasps of shock rippled through the crowd as the truth unfolded before their eyes. The holograms depicted secret communiques between the bride and her imperial kin, outlining a conspiracy to exploit the alliance for nefarious purposes. The facade of the union crumbled, revealing its core of deceit. Zarkath's gaze shifted from his bride to the unfolding revelations, his expression a mix of disbelief and fury. The guests erupted into chaos, the diplomatic veneer shattered. Amid the pandemonium, Alex and his team maintained their focus, ensuring that the message was clear and undisputable. The final phase required sheer audacity. Alex, standing firm before the assembly, addressed the gathered dignitaries. In a firm, resolute voice, he laid bare the treachery, urging a re-evaluation of alliances based on trust and transparency, not manipulation and subterfuge. The room fell silent, the gravity of his words sinking in. With the ceremony's disruption, Alex and his team had risked everything to prevent a disastrous shift in galactic power. Their courage and commitment to justice blazed brightly amidst the dimming celebration lights. In those fleeting moments, when the truth pierced the veil of deception, the trajectory of interstellar relations was irrevocably altered. As the echoes of turmoil settled, the fleet's command structure grappled with the ramifications. Yet, in the midst of upheaval, Alex knew that they had achieved something monumental. They had protected the integrity of the fleet and, more importantly, safeguarded the future of countless star systems. Amidst the aftermath, the bonds forged in the crucible of crisis would endure, heralding the dawn of a new chapter for both Alex and the USS Destiny. An unexpected development unfolded as Alex's team stealthily maneuvered through the shadows of the USS Destiny. Their meticulously crafted plan teetered on the brink of collapse when a sudden security sweep caught them off guard. The unexpected presence of additional security personnel heightened the tension, creating an electric atmosphere. This twist not only threatened to unravel their entire operation but also put all members at risk of exposure and severe repercussions. Alex's heart thudded in his chest as he signaled for his team to halt and remain hidden. The corridor, dimly lit and buzzing with the fleet's characteristic hum, seemed to close in on them. Every footstep of patrolling guards felt like a countdown towards inevitable discovery. His mind raced, strategizing a way to divert the guards without alerting them to the larger scheme at play. It was a test of his resourcefulness and leadership, demanding split-second decisions that could make or break their mission. Meanwhile, the ceremony continued in the Grand Hall, a spectacle of interstellar unity and elegance. Commander Zarkath stood resolute beside his alien bride, their union poised to symbolize a new era of diplomacy. Yet, beneath the surface, currents of deception ran deep. The attendees, oblivious to the brewing storm, basked in the ceremony's grandeur, unaware of the potential disaster looming just beyond the walls. Back in the corridor, Alex's team resolved to adapt. A calculated risk was necessary. He whispered urgent instructions to his closest ally, Cadet Jenna, whose technical prowess offered a glimmer of hope. She quickly tapped into her portable device, hacking into the ship's system to create a temporary glitch in the security grid. This clever maneuver provided a brief window, but it was a gamble that could easily backfire if detected. As the system faltered, the patrolling guards began to investigate the anomaly, allowing Alex and his team to slip further into the heart of the ship. Despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins, Alex maintained a calm exterior, his mind focused on the mission at hand. They moved with precision, inching closer to their objective, the control room where they needed to expose the conspiracy to the entire fleet. Yet, as they approached, an unforeseen adversary emerged. Lieutenant Rax, a formidable ally of Zarkath, intercepted Alex, standing in their path with a knowing smirk. Rax, renowned for his tactical acumen, was not easily fooled. The confrontation was inevitable, and Alex braced himself for the challenge. He knew that engaging Rax would require both wit and bravery. The two exchanged terse words, a verbal sparring that underlined their opposing loyalties. Alex, unwavering in his resolve, pressed the urgency of his mission, striving to plant seeds of doubt in Rax's mind. But time was not on their side. As their exchange grew heated, Alex signaled his team to proceed without him, trusting Jenna to lead them to success. Alone with Rax, Alex faced a formidable opponent. The stakes had never been higher, and the outcome of this encounter would determine the fleet's fate. The air crackled with tension as they squared off, Alex's courage and quick thinking pitted against Rax's experience and strength. It was a battle not just of physical prowess but of ideals and convictions. In the end, it was Alex's ingenuity that tipped the scales. Exploiting a flaw in the ship's design, he managed to outmaneuver Rax, leaving him incapacitated and unable to raise the alarm. The victory, though small, was pivotal, clearing the path for his team to execute the final phase of their plan. As Alex regrouped with his team, the control room loomed ahead, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. The confrontation with Rax had reinvigorated their determination, reinforcing their commitment to unveil the truth. The success of their mission hinged on these final moments, where each action held the weight of the fleet's future. With the clock ticking and the ceremony pressing on, Alex and his team prepared to confront the final barriers standing between them and the revelation of the truth. The tension that had simmered throughout their journey now reached a fever pitch, setting the stage for a climactic confrontation that would decide the fleet's destiny. In the central chamber of the USS Destiny, the atmosphere was thick with an air of anticipation and unyielding tension. The Union ceremony, meant to symbolize peace and cooperation, had instead become a stage for deception and treachery. As the fleeting moments ticked by, Cadet Alex Thompson was gripped by a relentless determination. The truth he had unearthed about the Zythorian bride's true motives was too grave to ignore. It was a conspiracy that not only threatened the fleet but also promised to destabilize the fragile galactic peace. The Grand Hall was adorned with shimmering fabrics and luminous lights, casting an ethereal glow that belied the sinister undercurrents beneath the surface. Guests from various star systems, adorned in their cultural fineries, mingled, oblivious to the storm brewing beneath their feet. Commander Zarkath stood at the altar, his expression unreadable, a mighty figure cloaked in ceremonial regalia. The bride, elegant yet enigmatic, moved with grace that masked her intentions, her eyes occasionally flickering with hidden agendas. Alex, strategically positioned among the guests, felt the weight of his mission pressing heavily upon him. The plan concocted with his allies hinged on precision and courage, elements they had in abundance, yet the unpredictability of their adversaries loomed large. As the ceremony commenced, each step, each word spoken by the officiant seemed to stretch time, amplifying Alex's anxiety. From across the room, Alex exchanged a glance with one of his confidants, Lieutenant Ramirez, a seasoned officer whose loyalty was unwavering. The subtle nod they shared was a silent confirmation that everything was in place. Their objective was clear: expose the conspiracy and prevent the bride from executing her treacherous plan. Yet, as Alex surveyed the room, a new realization dawned. There were eyes watching, not just those of the guests, but hidden observers who seemed to move within the shadows, suggesting that their plan might be compromised. Suddenly, the lights dimmed, and a holographic representation of stars filled the chamber, a customary part of the celebration. But this time, it carried a different message. Embedded within the constellations was a coded signal, one Alex recognized as a distress call from within the fleet. It was a call for immediate action, a message that scrambled their initial plan, pushing them to adapt swiftly. With hearts pounding and adrenaline surging, Alex signaled to Ramirez, urging the team to initiate their contingency plan. This plan was riskier, requiring them to act openly rather than from the shadows. The altered strategy demanded they confront the bride directly, an action fraught with potential chaos given her influential supporters. As they moved into motion, Alex felt a surge of resolve. He could feel the eyes of his fellow crew members upon him, their trust resting on his shoulders. As he approached the altar with his team, he raised his voice, cutting through the ceremonial proceedings with a declaration that shocked the assembly into silence. "Stop this ceremony. There is treachery afoot." The room erupted in confusion and alarm, with murmurs cascading through the crowd like a rising tide. The bride's expression transformed from serene to venomous, her facade crumbling under the scrutiny. Commander Zarkath, caught between duty and disbelief, turned towards Alex, demanding an explanation. The tension was palpable, a tangible entity that held each person captive. In that critical instant, Alex presented the evidence he had gathered, his voice steady despite the chaos. The truth unfolded in stark relief, painting the bride as a puppet master orchestrating a coup that would place the fleet under Zythorian control. Gasps echoed through the hall as realization dawned upon those present. Ultimately, it was the commander's response that remained uncertain. Would he align with his betrothed, blinded by loyalty, or choose to stand with his crew? Zarkath's decision was a pivot upon which the fate of the fleet hinged. With breath held, the crew awaited the final pronouncement from the commander, knowing that it would seal their fate and determine the future of the interstellar alliance. The climactic moment edged toward resolution, every second heavy with potential consequence. In the aftermath of the climactic revelation aboard the USS Destiny, the atmosphere within the fleet was charged with a mixture of relief and uncertainty. The once celebrated union between Commander Zarkath and the Zythorian bride had collapsed spectacularly, revealing a conspiracy that had threatened to destabilize interstellar relations. The immediate consequences were a testament to the far-reaching implications of the plot. Diplomats scrambled to manage the diplomatic fallout, as the Zythorian Empire faced demands for accountability regarding their involvement in the insidious plan. For Alex Thompson, the human cadet who had risked so much to unveil the truth, the experience was transformative. Initially regarded as an outsider among the diverse crew, he now found himself at the center of a rapidly evolving situation. The fleet's command structure, once rigid and impermeable, was now more receptive to voices like Alex's, who had proven their value beyond traditional hierarchies. His actions had demonstrated the importance of vigilance and moral courage in maintaining the integrity of their mission. The crew, bonded by their shared struggle, reflected on the events that had unfolded. Each member had played a role, whether in gathering evidence, coordinating the interception of the ceremony, or confronting adversaries directly. There was an overwhelming sense of solidarity, a recognition that their success was due to the diverse strengths and perspectives each brought to the table. It was a poignant reminder that unity, even amidst diversity, was their greatest asset. While the immediate threat had been averted, the path forward was fraught with challenges. The exposure of the conspiracy necessitated a re-evaluation of alliances and strategies within the galactic fleet. Diplomatic channels hummed with activity as envoys embarked on a public relations campaign to rebuild trust with allied species. Meanwhile, internal investigations were underway to identify any lingering threats and ensure that such a breach could never occur again. For the crew members directly involved in the operation, there was a period of introspection. They grappled with the personal costs of their actions, the sacrifices they made, and the reality of their precarious roles in the broader geopolitical landscape. Alex, in particular, found himself questioning the balance between duty and personal ethics. Yet, as he stood amidst his peers, those who had become more than comrades, who had become family, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. The USS Destiny, a beacon of hope and peace, had weathered the storm. Its reputation tarnished by the scandal, it was now charged with proving its resilience and commitment to stability. The crew was determined to set a precedent not only for recovery but for thriving in the face of adversity. They embarked on a mission to strengthen ties with trusted allies, to demonstrate transparency, and to champion the values that define their service. Reflecting on the events, there was a collective agreement that while the threat had been dire, it had also served as a catalyst for growth and change. The experience highlighted the need for constant vigilance, open dialogue, and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths. It reinforced the belief in the power of the individual to effect change, even in the most entrenched systems, a belief that Alex, with his newfound respect and confidence from his peers, embodied. As the aftermath of the conspiracy settled, thoughts turned to the future. The lessons learned from this ordeal would guide the fleet in navigating the complexities of interstellar diplomacy. The crew's resilience and adaptability in the face of uncertainty served as an inspiration, a reminder of what they could achieve together. They stood united, ready to face new challenges, driven by the same dedication that had brought them through the crisis. In the silent expanse of space, aboard the USS Destiny, there was a quiet determination, a promise to uphold peace and justice across the galaxy. And as the ship continued on its journey, Alex couldn't help but think of the adventures yet to come, confident that whatever lay ahead, he and his crew were ready to meet it head-on. Together, they moved forward, with the stars as their guide and the resolve to protect the universe they called home. The aftermath of the tumultuous events aboard the USS Destiny left the interstellar fleet in a state of reflection and recalibration. The exposed conspiracy had shaken the trust among allies, yet it also reinforced the resilience and unity of the crew. In the days following the Union ceremony's dramatic intervention, Cadet Alex Thompson found himself enveloped in a newfound respect from fellow crew members and high-ranking officers alike. His actions had not only prevented a catastrophic alliance from forming but had also cemented his place as an integral member of the fleet. Alex stood on the bridge, gazing out into the vast expanse of the galaxy. The shimmering stars seemed to echo the boundless opportunities and challenges that lay ahead. He recalled the tension and urgency, the palpable fear that had gripped him as he navigated the treacherous waters of deception and diplomacy. Yet, through adversity, Alex had discovered a strength within himself and an indomitable courage that surged forth when he needed it the most. The fleet, now more vigilant and unified, began the task of restoring diplomatic relations with the Zythorian Empire. Efforts were made to rebuild trust, acknowledging that peace required a delicate balance of transparency and cooperation. As negotiations progressed, Alex played a vital role, his unique perspective and recent experiences offering insights that were invaluable to the leadership team. His voice carried weight, not just because of his actions, but because of the integrity and determination with which he approached every challenge. Amidst the ongoing diplomatic efforts, there was a growing recognition of the need for continued vigilance against threats from within and outside the known worlds. The struggles they had faced underscored the importance of unity and understanding among the diverse species that populated the fleet. Alex's journey from feeling out of place to becoming a linchpin in the fleet's operations was a testament to the power of persistence, courage, and the human spirit's adaptability. The commander of the fleet, Zarkath, now free from the shadows of manipulation, expressed his gratitude to Alex personally. Their conversation, once marked by formality and distance, was now a dialogue of mutual respect and shared purpose. Zarkath acknowledged the importance of Alex's intervention, noting that it had not only saved the fleet but had also prevented a potentially devastating shift in the galactic power dynamic. In the quiet moments away from the bridge, Alex reflected on the personal growth he had undergone. The sense of belonging he had long sought was now firmly rooted in his identity as a member of the fleet. He had learned that being different was a strength, not a weakness, and that diversity was the cornerstone of their collective success. The friendships he had forged, the allies he had gained, and the battles he had fought alongside them had created bonds that transcended mere duty. As the USS Destiny set course for its next mission, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. The future held uncertainties and challenges, but also the promise of adventure and discovery. With the universe spread before him like an open book, he was eager to write the next chapter of his journey. The lessons he had learned, about trust, resilience, and the importance of standing for what is right, would guide him in the days to come. In closing, Alex's story serves as a poignant reminder of the power of one individual to effect change in the face of overwhelming odds. His journey, filled with intrigue and heroism, is but one of many that unfold in the ever-expanding tapestry of the galaxy. As viewers, we are invited to join in these adventures, to explore the vast unknown, and to witness tales of courage and unity. Subscribe now to stay connected with future stories of intrigue and valor. Embark on new adventures and discover the depth of the human spirit in the uncharted realms of space.